Lesson 7 is again going to cover literal equations. This will just be a continuation or an extension from yesterday's assignment, Lesson 6, literal equations. Some more advanced problems or different problems that you'll come across today in comparison to yesterday. Example 5, we still follow those same steps that we wrote down with solving equations. In this case, we need to get k by itself. Notice k is on the left side. Also notice that one side is totally being divided. In this case, it is being divided by 5. So we need to get rid of that division. In order to get rid of the division, we are going to multiply both sides by 5. Another way to write it is like this, since we have one term. So the division on the left side will be canceled out, and we'll be left with k minus 2 equals 11j times 5 is going to give us 55j. In order to get k by itself, we need to add 2 to both sides, and we wind up with k equals 55j plus 2. Cannot add those together. They are not like terms. Example 6, we need to solve for t. Notice the distributive property is actually happening here. We are distributing t into a binomial r plus 4. So we actually need to get t by itself. In order to do that, the binomial r plus 4 is actually being multiplied into t, so we need to divide by the r plus 4. And we need to do that to both sides. When we do that, your r plus 4s would then cancel out. So this would be canceling out, leaving you with t. On the left side of the equation, we have 28 divided by r plus 4. We have 2 left here. Example 7 is a great equation that we need to solve because we will be working a lot with this year, converting the different forms from standard form to slope-intercept to point-slope. So we will run across a lot of equations that use x and y. In this case, we need to get y by itself. In order to get y alone, we need to get rid of x. Notice x is positive. So in order to get rid of the positive x, we need to subtract by x, and we would have to do that to both sides. On the left side, we bring down, a lot of people will bring down the 2/3 y, but you also need to carry that sign, that negative sign in this case. So negative 2/3 y would drop down, equals 12 minus x. Next thing we need to do is to get y alone. Well, negative 2/3 is a fraction which is multiplying into y, so we'd have to actually divide by negative 2/3. Another way that you can do it, instead of dividing, you could multiply by the reciprocal, and you could do that to both sides instead of dividing by a fraction. However, you're able to use your calculator. So we'll divide both sides by negative 2/3. We are left with y equals 12 minus x all over negative 2/3. Now, yesterday we had answers that look like this, and I said there's a way that you can actually reduce it more. But you didn't have to reduce it more. This problem, actually, you have to reduce more. Reason being is this here is basically a fraction. And when you write a fraction, you don't have a fraction as a denominator. So we need to actually rewrite this problem and solve this a little bit more. So it would actually be y equals 12 divided by negative 2/3 minus x divided by negative 2/3. We need to actually solve this. This here is not solved. So if we actually did in our calculator 12 divided by negative 2/3, we would find out that we actually get negative 18. We also need to take negative x, which there is really a 1 there that we talked about. So negative 1 divided by negative 2/3, and that would give us a positive 3/2 x. You've now solved for y. Okay? Notice, remember, reminder, we cannot have that denominator as a fraction. You don't have a fraction with a fraction in the denominator. So here is our answer there for question number 7. The last one here, question 8. Similar, we worked through one similar to this yesterday. We have to actually solve for q. So it's actually, q is inside that binomial. So the first thing that we need to do is get rid of a. In order to get rid of a, we need to divide both sides by a. So we get q minus 8 left over equals 23 divided by a. In order to get q alone, we need to add both sides, or add 8 to both sides. And we get q equals, now here's our fraction, 23a, we don't know what that is, so we need to add 8. Now we can't say add 23 and 8 together. Reason being is right here. Okay, we don't have a common denominator. So we have 23a plus 8. This concludes lesson 7, literal equations. Another thing is, basically what I want you to do is go ahead and look through lesson 6 today as well. Double check things before we hand that in.